just bear with it and see how long it's going to last.
President Trump increases tariffs on China to 125%. How Madison businesses say it'll impact them.
Plus concerns from international students and immigrants after several UW-Madison students and alum have their visas revoked. What an immigration lawyer has to say.
Federal funding toward citizenship classes gone abruptly. I'm Tanisha Shaw covering how the Literacy Network plans to...
And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin with the latest twist in President Trump's tariff plan. The president announcing a 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs except for China.
The president said he authorized the pause and moved tariffs back to an across-the-board 10%. This is after the president said he heard from more than 75 countries who want to negotiate trade deals. Trump's announcement comes after the European Union hit back with new retaliatory tariffs on more than $20 billion of U.S. goods. It is unclear what will happen after the 90-day period concludes while countries negotiate with the Trump administration. Meanwhile, President Trump raised tariffs on Chinese imports to 125%.
And our Ellie LaLiberte shows us why one Madison store says that makes for an uncertain future.
Madison Oriental Market and Ethnic Deli carries goods from across Africa and Southeast Asia. But the owner tells me the tariffs could hurt business and make goods like this more expensive.
I have a lot of diverse customer here.
Kyle Lee has owned this market for roughly 8 years.
Most of the food here is either Chinese or Southeast Asian food.
He's no stranger to the challenges of being a business owner. But his latest concern, what tariffs on China will mean for the price of his products.
I'm gonna try to keep it as low as I can, but at the same time, I'm gonna have to make some living, a little bit of a living too.
And I think the local stores or these kind of stores will probably have a harder time.
Julie Lee is one of the market's customers.
I really like the people and also the food. It's really authentic to me.
She's also worried about an increase in prices, but is doing what she can to help a small business.
Obviously, it's gonna get difficult, but we can only support,
You come in and see price high, you're gonna have to think about that. It's not us that did it, it's the government. So you just have to bear with it.
Kyle is hoping for more customers like Julie, but still doesn't know if that will be enough.
I don't know if we actually drive the price so high that I cannot afford to run the store anymore, and I don't know how bad it's going to be.
Reporting on Madison's north side, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. Lee also says he could see prices go up for more than just Chinese products.
Now, these big leaps and losses over the last week have been something to watch, even for households without major investments. And that's because of the impact on consumer prices as well as jobs. When investors believe in a company's ability to deliver on the goods and services they've promised and consumer demand for them, that company's stock often becomes more desirable. This, of course, pushes a company's value higher. Losses across the 30 diverse companies that compose the closely watched Dow, from Apple to McDonald's to Walmart, mean investors are anxious about what broad tariffs and a global trade war mean for the future.
The longer this lasts, the more of an economic drag it is, with uncertainty both by the consumer, investor, and certainly people that run companies. And the longer that lasts, the more real economic damage we're doing.
Now, when a company's stock goes down, they can eventually be challenged to make decisions about infrastructure, like hiring and the number of people they can continue to employ. They may also hike prices to cover costs, which can squeeze consumers. And for those lamenting retirement losses as this market has turned down, experts say it's important to look forward, not back, and try to stay on top of that money.
Well, some rain chances heading our way later tonight. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington with our first warn forecast. Alex?
Yeah, those rain chances, Eric, dwindled across much of southern Wisconsin, all because of dry air that snuck in to southern Wisconsin. In fact, as I look off to my left over here, the sun is trying to come out here in Dane County. Where are those showers? Right now, radar 3000 shows those showers to the east of Madison. And east of Madison is where those showers are going to stay at least for tonight. The reason why? That dry air snuck in. It evaporated those raindrops for much of southern Wisconsin, keeping the best chances to the east. But we do still have some more shower chances on Thursday. You can also verify the dry air. Look over towards Milwaukee. Humidity levels, relative humidity levels approaching 90%. But west of Madison, they're in the upper 30s to 40% relative humidity values. So that, again, goes to show as those raindrops try to fall through the sky, they struggled because of the dry air. Cool to the east, that's where they have the rain going on. Look at to the west in the 50s, that's where the sun has come out this afternoon. Dane County, we're right in the middle. 44 in Madison, 48 to the west right now in Cross Plains. And as we plan our evening, I don't think we're going to have any more raindrops in in Dane County rather for this evening. Although the skies will stay cloudy and that will help to hold temperatures up. Speaking of holding temperatures up, when will the warmest day be over the course of the next 10 days? It's coming up this weekend. I'll show you just how warm in a few minutes.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Alex. Now, 3 people are without their home after a fire on the north side earlier today. Crews responded to a fire on Northland Drive just before 11:30 this morning. Madison Fire says they were able to find the fire, extinguish it, and get everyone out safely. It started in the kitchen, but the cause remains under investigation.
A Richland Center woman was arrested not once, but twice for OWI yesterday alone. The 60-year-old reportedly showed up to a Richland County courtroom Tuesday morning, possibly under the influence. Well, deputies determined the woman had driven to the courthouse while under the influence. She was booked into the jail, later released, and then immediately after being released, the woman was allegedly seen getting into the driver's seat of her vehicle and then driving off. She was arrested again for OWI along with misdemeanor bail jumping. The Department of International Student Services at the UW says 6 current students and 7 alumni on employment extensions had their visas terminated with no warning or reason.
Our Arman Rahman spoke to a political science expert about how it happened and what to do if you are an international student feeling nervous about the future of your status.
Immigration lawyers and political experts tell me the way these students had their visas terminated is something they've never seen done in the United States before, and international students should be on alert.
This revocation that's happening all across the country is arbitrary.
Arbitrary visa terminations and deportation is something immigration lawyer Huma Hassan says she hasn't seen before, and neither have the people that she helps.
I get a lot of calls these days about very fearful international students.
Hassan says any student who got a revocation notice should immediately file for reinstatement, especially if it's due to some type of court case or minor offense. They'll need a letter indicating that the case was dropped.
They will also need some information from either the school or the employer saying, yes, we want this international student.
But for many students,
people are being deported who profess to have no idea why.
Political science expert Howard Schwaber says the Trump administration is using a law designed to deport people the Secretary of State says is a threat to national security.
That if these people had said when they applied for a visa that they intend to express criticisms of Israel, we would never have let them in, and therefore we can now kick them out. Freedoms of speech apply not only to citizens, freedom of speech applies to anyone who's in the United States.
UW-Madison officials say they played no role in these terminations. Hassan says that makes applying for reinstatement more complicated.
This student has, been flagged somehow.
And Hassan says now more than ever the community should stand up for international students.
They bring so much to this area, a lot of the research, a lot of the funding, a lot of the grants, a lot of the innovation of Madison is done by international students.
Reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
And Hassan also recommends international students and all immigrants keep multiple copies of their paperwork, passports, and visa in different locations. Well, the Packers today are in Madison as part of their tailgate tour.
This is the team gears up for the NFL draft. It's coming on fast. 2 weeks from now in Green Bay. For more on tonight's event, let's go to Jalen Banks, who is live at the event inside Garber Feed Mill. Jalen?
Good evening, everyone. I'm currently at the Garber Feed Mill in Madison's east side, where Dairyland Sports is raising money for athletes with disabilities to give them more opportunities and resources. Part of that fundraiser this evening are the Green Bay Packers themselves. I'm going to step out of the way so that you guys can see them. Their back is currently to you, but In front of the crowd is Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy, former first-round pick Lucas Van Ness, starting tight end Tucker Kraft. Now, I've been here for quite a bit now, and I've been able to scope out some of the jerseys, and the Packer faithful are truly here. I've seen a Jared Abbrederis jersey, an Eddie Lacy jersey, a Joe Kramer jersey. I've even seen, quite a few Clay Matthews jerseys. I know that's a beloved Packer great, but again, they're just here raising money for a good cause, going around the state, trying to get in touch with these Packers fans ahead of the NFL draft, which we will be covering in just 2 weeks. Tonight at 10, we're going to hear from some of the Packers players that came out this evening. But for now, reporting on Madison's East Side, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Awesome. Thank you, Jalen, and for a good cause, too. Coming up next, a nonprofit program that helps people get citizenship is losing a big chunk of funding.
When we come back, the changes coming to the program and what organizers are saying.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Right now, the Literacy Network in Madison has lost roughly 1/3 of the federal funding that supports its citizenship program.
The nonprofit said the Department of Homeland Security abruptly took away a grant last month. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to organizers about how the program will be changed.
A lack of care and the dismissiveness for our students as though they're not full people.
The Literacy Network helps people with permanent resident cards, better known as green cards, study for their citizenship test.
I think we are in a family. Everything is and the teacher, tutor, is very good. And everything is free. We don't pay anything.
Daniel Godo passed his test in January, but he still visits the center regularly to give back.
I want to give back what I learned here. I want to give back for other people who want to apply for citizenship.
The Literacy Network now has to change the way they help their students. In late March, the Department of Homeland Security said they would no longer provide federal funding for the organization.
Is that it no longer fits the goals and priorities of the Department of Homeland Security. So we, of course, were dismayed, not entirely surprised how quickly they cut the grant and that it was in the middle of classes.
Robin Ryan is the executive director of the nonprofit and says despite the setback, classes will remain in session.
We will have to retract. We won't be able to keep growing. We will have to go back to the size of the program we had before, but we're not going to stop serving the students.
Students and instructors told me that the test is hard. Students said they studied for at least 2 semesters before taking the test, and most Americans born here in the U.S. wouldn't even pass the test on their first try.
You have to study. Probably a lot of people who were born and raised in the U.S. would not pass the citizenship test. Yeah, you need to know your civics, you need to know history, and you need to be able to communicate with somebody. It's not multiple choice. You need to answer one-on-one in an interview in English.
Now, Ryan is working to object the funding termination.
There is a provision that says you may object. So we are definitely going to object, and we're going to work with others in the community who are in similar situations.
Reporting to Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. Now, after the break, an annual blood drive with incentives for donors.
Plus, will the recent economic shakeup have any impact on Easter spending? What the National Retail Federation is projecting.
And what is the latest on the rain and snow chances? Alex has the complete forecast when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Easter spending is expected to soar this year despite a lot of economic uncertainty. The National Retail Federation estimates that consumers will shell out more than $23 billion this year, with people spending about $189 per person on average. That's up $12 from last year. So how can shoppers save this holiday?
Certainly think about which decorations you can reuse from last year, whether or not you can encourage people to participate in a potluck.
As for those Easter eggs, there is some good news. Prices have come down a bit the last few weeks. That's according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Fewer avian flu cases have helped stabilize prices. However, they are still higher than this time a year ago.
And there is still a chance of rain or snow, possibly, Alex. Is there somebody in the area who does?
There is. You got to go east of Madison now. Here, as we see radar 3000 high and dry in Dane County, going off over here towards the east. We do have still some showers along 43 down towards Elkhorn. Janesville, you snuck a shower. Beloit, you snuck a shower earlier today. But we had dry air in place that really battled those showers today. And you can see that's the scene here on our Mallard Skycam as part of our First Warn WeatherCam network right here. All you have is high, thin clouds here. We don't have clouds that have depth to them because the dry air really evaporated a lot of that moisture. So that best chances of any additional showers will be east of Madison. Just a tiny chance of a shower as well as we go into Thursday. Let's put that into motion. First, here go those showers off to the east over Lake Michigan. Then as we head towards 6 o'clock on Thursday morning, just a couple of showers over portions of southwest Wisconsin. And I've been saying this all day. We all have the chance of seeing a shower on Thursday, but not everyone is going to see a shower or get wet. And these amounts have gone down drastically. Again, I grew up on a farm. I get it. We need these raindrops for farmers as we head towards planting season. Unfortunately, this is not going to be that rain event that we thought we would get because of the dry air in place. Now let's fast forward to tomorrow morning, probably looking at this map and whoa, what's with all this gray? Some patchy dense fog, and I shouldn't really even call this patchy. Some dense fog is a possibility as we go into Thursday morning, especially if you snuck a couple of showers. So areas south and east of Madison definitely seeing a better chance of seeing that fog, but it could overspread a good portion of southern Wisconsin. So that's something to bear in mind tomorrow morning in that morning commute, that you could have some fog to contend with. And Savannah will be back tomorrow morning during the morning shows. 30s tonight, clouds, some fog developing, those shower chances dwindling for areas Madison and points off towards the east. All of us again stand the chance of seeing a shower as we go into Thursday, but many places will also have dry time as well on Thursday. Next chance of rain after the farmers market Saturday, 61 degrees. We got a 65 on Sunday. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm Sunday night going on into Monday with a cold front, eyeing up a potential for another weather system towards the latter part of next week, but temperatures staying on the mild side as it looks like right now. This is Severe Weather Awareness Week. We have tips on channel3000.com's Facebook page. I've been imparting some additional knowledge, but this is a biggie. Tomorrow is our statewide tornado drill. There will be two tests, one at 1:45 p.m., one at 6:45 p.m. Just a reminder, some communities will not sound their sirens, so have your phone ready. If you have a NOAA weather radio, have that ready so that you're able to test with the tornado drill tomorrow to make sure that you have all the electronics that you need to stay safe from tornadoes this severe weather season, and hopefully we don't have any of them this season.
We hope. Thank you, Alex. And the Overture Center is going to be hosting its annual blood drive in a few weeks. It's scheduled for April 22nd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Those who enter the blood drive have a chance to win a pair of tickets to what's called the Black Violin Performance, Friday, April 25th. This show is famous for its fusion of classical and hip-hop music. Also, donors giving blood to the American Red Cross between the 14th and 30th will get an American Red Cross t-shirt while supplies last. They will also be entered for a chance to win a $5,000 prize, and 3 winners will be selected.
And coming up in sports, a comeback for the ages, while the Bucks say you can never count them out. That's next on News 3 Now. It's always tough being the new guy, but it's magnified when the new guy is also the new quarterback of a team looking to get back to playing Badger football of old after a couple years of, well, not so good football. That's what Billy Edwards Jr. is going through during spring ball, getting to know his teammates and coaches while learning and leading a brand new offense. Sounds challenging, right? And it is, but it's also why he came to Wisconsin.
Everything about this program is tough and hard, and it's intentional, and they do it on purpose, and I love it because, you know, Saturdays are hard. So I think just getting pushed in all aspects, I think that was, like I said, a big reason why I wanted to come here. You know, to really challenge myself, not only as a player on the field, but also as a leader. You know, stepping into a new locker room with this landscape of college football, there's 30-some new guys. You're obviously the quarterback of a new offense coordinator that comes in. There's a lot of, you know, attention and eyes on you, and I think just embracing that.
In case you turned off the Bucks game early last night, which who could blame you, right? Down by 24 points in the fourth, they're not coming back. Well, they did. The Deer closed the game on a 39-8 run to beat the Wolves. It was the first time a team has won a game when trailing by 24 points in the fourth in nearly 3 decades, proving why you should always play until the end.
These games matter, and I know that in the playoffs, you're going to get down some games, but that's why it's a 48-minute game, and you play to the end, and you put forth attention to detail, and you put together a win if guys lock in and come together, and that's what we did tonight. It was great. Everybody pitched in. The energy in the building was fantastic. Haven't played ball in a minute, so it was fun to be out there.
On the ice, opening game for the United States in the Women's Worlds, and Hillary Knight made her mark. The former Badger and captain for the U.S. sends a strike into the back of the net to light the lamp in the second period. The United States beat Finland 7-1. They're back in action on Friday night. And one of the best days of golf, the par 3 contest, where pros get to play around with their kids. Keegan Bradley's son teed off on 6. A little disappointed about sending that one into the water. Dad, on the other hand, well, not only did he land that baby on the green, but he's going to roll it in for the first ace of the day. The Masters get underway tomorrow morning.
Of course. Yeah. That's how it's done, kiddo. And you can watch the Masters this weekend right here. Tonight at 10, talks of system-wide changes for Madison Metro drivers after several attacks against drivers on the job. What city officials are suggesting drivers do in the face of these disturbances, and what one attack driver has to say about the changes. Quickly to Alex, final check of the forecast.
Clouds tonight, some fog develops overnight, especially for areas that did see a shower, which those best chances are south and east of Madison. Still can't rule out a shower east of Madison, and then as we head towards the weekend, warm by the time we get to Sunday, 65.
Thanks for joining us at 6, folks.